Welcome back to the Suburban 4 and 7 Sports Cable. This week, the NFL lost a legend when former Steelers coach Chuck Noll passed away. He led Pittsburgh to 4 Super Bowl titles. He also coached 11 Hall of Famers, including wide receiver Lynn Swann, who joined David Solano in the Sports Cave earlier this week and talked some Lions and also about the NFL's blackout policy. Brought to you, of course, by our friends at Parts Galore.
Let's jump right into the main issue of why you're here. The whole blackout rule situation, the FCC, NFL opposes everything. Why do you think they shouldn't get rid of the blackout rule?
Well, here's the key. You know, the blackout rule has been around for about 40 years, since 1975.
Right.
And it's worked extraordinarily well. If it's not broken, what are they trying to fix?
Right.
We have full stadiums. People come to the game. We're the only sport where fans who don't get to the game can watch it on free over-the-air television.
Right.
And the blackout rule helps supports that, and it supports our broadcast partners. A full stadium means enthusiastic players, enthusiastic fans. It means the announcers are enthusiastic. Everybody benefits all the way around. So we have a coalition. We have a website. It's called www.protectfootballonfreetv.com, where fans can go and get more information. Can actually send a letter to the FCC in support of keeping the status quo, not changing the rule.
And why come to Detroit to send this message here?
Well, we're going to a number of teams around the National Football League. And certainly when you look at Detroit, and I wish you guys had won a Super Bowl somewhere along the way, you haven't had a blackout here since 2010.
Okay.
Your fans support this team. Look at the business around the stadium that's occurred, and that support the tax revenue that's generated for the money that your city and state put out to build this stadium so football could be here. So that all of your fans who can't get to the game are still enjoying the NFL on free over-the-air TV without having to pay for a cable subscription to watch the game.
So the FCC trying to make something happen in the next couple of months here, as soon as, what kind
It's
of
probably a
timeframe
60-day period. We think they would like to make a decision. A lot of the folks have weighed in on it. The broadcasters have weighed in on it. The networks in favor of leaving it as is, the status quo, not changing the rule. So now it's time for fans to weigh in and to have their say.
Before we wrap things up, I know the Lions fans want to get your perspective on this guy named Megatron here in the Motor City.
Well, when I met Calvin Johnson, he wasn't Megatron.
Okay.
Or maybe he was in the making, if you will. But when he was at Georgia Tech, they called him Neo. Meaning he was the one. That he was going to make it happen. Hard not to notice that this young man had great talent. Wasn't quite as big as he is now when he was in college, but he's phenomenal talent. I think a great asset to the team, and I think he's got even better days in front of him. I mean, so I think Detroit's lucky to have him on the team. And to add another weapon in Golden Tate, too, who, oh, by the way, wins a Super Bowl in Seattle, to bring him here is pretty nice also. Well, that's going to give some balance there. I mean, I feel fortunate in Pittsburgh that we had 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers, John Stallworth, and I had a great opportunity to play alongside John. If you double team me, that means you have to have single coverage on John Stallworth. If you double John, you have to have single coverage on me. And if you double both of us, Franco's just going to run the ball.
There you
won't
go.
have anybody to stop him. So having those assets together, I think will be extraordinarily beneficial. And I think Jim Caldwell might be the right guy for Detroit.
You know, nice to see Lynn here. Thank you, David, for the interview. Interesting topic. I mean, you're a diehard. You're buying tickets for the Lions.
And you know what? As much as I kind of think it's cool that they have the policy, how many people wouldn't go to the games if they didn't have the policy? I look at, like, you know, Michigan State football. People still go to games. They're on free TV. I almost think it's a non-issue either way.
I mean, I think that Lynn gives you the story, the spin for his side.
Some lobbyists is paying him.
And he should, and that's fine. But he also says the NFL is the only entity here in the 4 major sports that all the games are on free TV. Well, yeah, locally. So if you want to watch the Lions, even when they're on ESPN opening night, the game will be on here, on this station, it's Channel 7. But as far as the lights are going on.
It depends if the lights don't stay on, maybe one of them.
But if you're another network and you're a Raider fan living in St. Louis when the games are on NFL Network or ESPN, and if you don't have cable, you can't see them. So it's interesting.
It is.